in Python we have two types of functions, that is pure functions and modifiers, isn't it? So what was the last concept we studied in the previous class? Hello? The last class actually we were discussing about pure functions and modifiers, isn't it? Tell me students, by definition, what is pure function and what is a modifier function? Anyone? Students, anyone? Can you answer? What is pure function? Hello? Hello? Students, can anyone answer me? What is a pure function and what is modifier? Bhavisha? Hello? Bhavisha, are you here?
Sir, like it returns the values as same arguments.
Mm, not
Pure
exactly.
function.
A pure function is one that
Yes, sir.
accepts objects as arguments and
Yes,
it
sir.
won't change its value.
Yes, sir. Same value na return ಮಾಡುತ್ತಲ್ಲ sir. Same as arguments.
No, it doesn't matter what it is returning, but it should not change the value of the arguments that it
Yes,
is
sir.
receiving. See, when
Yes,
you
sir.
pass as arguments, a function will be receiving the arguments, isn't it? In case if it doesn't make any changes to those original arguments, then we call such functions as pure functions. In case if they are altering the original value, what they are receiving as arguments, then we call such function as modifiers. We saw the example of the what is that time class, isn't it? See, look at this. I'll share the screen 1 minute. Look at this function. So this is an example for pure function. In this we have class time. In this we have class time that represents hours, minutes, and seconds are as the arguments. And look at the main code. 1 minute. Main code, which is yes. Look at the main code. See here we are creating the object t1 of time, and t1 contains hours, minutes, and seconds. Then we have a print time. First, tell me what kind of function is this print time? Is it a modifier function or pure function? Now look at the function definition of print time. Yes, it is defined here. Tell me students, now just by looking at this function definition, can you assess whether it's a pure function or modifier function? You see, it is just printing the values. It is not at all modifying the values of object T. T is an object that contains the attributes hours, minutes, and seconds. It is not at all making any attempt to modify the data members of T. So hence we assume that this is an pure function. Similarly, if you look at add time, see we have time objects T1 and T2, which contains hours. 1 minute. Here the add time contains two objects of type time, that is T1 and T2, and at the same time this T1 and T2 contains attributes, that is hours, minutes, and seconds. And to do the summation of these t1 and t2, we are creating one temporary object that is sum. So if you observe this function body of add time, it is only the sum object which is getting updated, but not the t1 and t2. That means we are using t1 and t2 just for calculating without changing its initial values, without changing its original values. So therefore, this add time is not at all making any attempt to change the values of t1 and t2. Hence, we consider this add time also as a pure function. You look at here, it is adding t1 dot sum dot hour is equal to t1 dot hour plus t2 dot hour. So t1 and t2 values are not at all changed. Similarly, here also sum dot minute is equal to t1 dot minute plus t2 dot minute. So here t1 and t2 are not getting changed. Similarly, in this next statement as well, sum dot second is equal to t1 dot second plus t2 dot second. So the original values are remaining as it is. Similarly, here also it is sum dot second, which is getting changed. Okay, if sum dot second is greater than or equal to 60, then sum dot second is equal to sum dot second minus 60, and incrementing the minute by one count. That is sum dot minute is equal to minute plus one. Sum dot minute plus one. Why? Because so as soon as the second becomes 60 seconds, we have to increment the minute, isn't it? So that's the reason why here we are incrementing the minute. Similarly, here also, if sum dot minute is greater than or equal to 60, then sum dot minute is equal to sum dot minute minus 60, then increment hour by one count. So that means as soon as it reaches 59 minutes, then it will reach 60. So once it becomes 60, the hour count should be incremented. So therefore, it is only the temporary object which is getting changed, that is some object. Then we are not touching the original values of t1 and t2, so and it is returning some. Okay, so therefore, add time is also a pure function in this example. Okay, what is the takeaway from this? A pure function is one that receives arguments and doesn't change the original values of the receiving arguments in its function definition. So that's the meaning of pure function. Now we'll see example for modifiers. Sometimes it is necessary to modify the underlying argument so as to reflect the caller. That is, arguments have to be modified inside the function, and these modifications should be available to the caller. The functions that perform such modifications are known as modifier functions. So that means sometimes see arguments are nothing but the input to the function, isn't it? When you say we have written a function with arguments, so the function will receive the arguments and it may have to process the data. So during that processing, the receiving arguments may be modified. In case if you are modifying the values of the receiving arguments, and those changes should be made available to the calling function. Okay, in such case we call the functions as modifier functions. Now look at in this example, look at we have the function by name increment. Increment is having two arguments. One is time object t and another one is normal data member, that is seconds. Okay, now t is the object that contains hours, minutes and seconds, and we have one more explicit parameter, that is seconds. Now look at here, t dot is second is equal to t dot second plus seconds. So now that means in the very first statement itself, we are modifying the object t. Okay, we are modifying the content of object t. Okay, look at here, t dot second is equal to t dot second plus seconds. Then while t dot second remains greater than or equal to 60, okay, you keep performing t dot second is equal to t dot second minus 60 and increment minute count by one number. So becomes true, until this condition becomes true, okay, you keep performing these two operations. That is t dot second is equal to t dot second minus 60 and incrementing the minute. So therefore here also the original this is the original parameter. So this is the original argument t getting changed. So that means similarly here also t dot minute, while t dot minute is greater than or equal to 60. So until this condition holds true, you keep performing these two operations. That is updating the t dot minute value to t dot minute minus 60, then incrementing the hour by one count. So that means it is very much evident that we are changing the contents of original parameter, that is t. So hence this function is modifying its arguments. We call this function as modifier function. And whatever the changes that you do here t, that will be reflected in the caller function. So now these kind of functions are called as modifier functions. Students, anything you want to ask? Hello.
No, sir.
Next thing is prototyping. Next concept is prototyping versus planning. See, most of the times when you do projects, so either we follow iterative manner, that is, the project will be developed in terms of iterations, or waterfall model. That means when the client comes with complete requirements at one shot, then what you can do, you can prepare a high level design and detailed design, and you can have a complete clarity about the requirements, and you can develop in one shot. So that is called planning. Okay, so you take another scenario where the customer or your client comes with some preliminary requirements, and you will tell, so you develop this system for me. So I'll be working using this system as and when the requirements are coming to me, I'll come to you, you re-implement and give it to me, like that. That means, so developing the software in iterative manner. Say for example, you will start with a business. So whatever the major functionalities required, that you implement as part of version 1, okay, and you'll be using that. By the time, okay, when you need few more features, so your the software, the person, that is the contractor, software contractor company, they will be developing the remaining functionality. Okay, as and when the business requirements keep changing, you will go and intimate, so these are the new functionalities I need. So what they do, they'll deliver the software in terms of iteration. Okay, say for example, first iteration in 6 months, second iteration of the software in next another 6 months, and so on. So what they do, when you go with the requirements, they will assign the priority to the requirements. Then they will decide which are the functionalities that are to be implemented with the highest priority. That becomes your version 1. Then the requirements with second highest priority, that becomes version 2. So like that. So that is called prototyping. That is called prototyping. Whenever we don't know the complete problem statement, we may write the program initially and then keep off modifying it as and when the requirement changes. This methodology is known as prototype and patch. So prototype and patch means you don't have the requirements, all the requirements at one go. You have only the preliminary requirements. So you model the problem, then you develop a software only for based upon the preliminary requirements. So as and when the client comes with new requirements, you keep modifying the actual project. So as the end result of this, sometimes you may end up with unnecessary code as well. So that is called prototyping. Okay, so Okay, so why you'll end up with unnecessary code? So for example, so as part of preliminary requirements, some functionality was required. After some time, it fails. So that is one of the situation where you will end up with unnecessary code. Okay, and the alternative to this is design the development. So in case of design, so high level insight into the problem and can make the program much easier. For example, if we consider the problem of adding two time objects, adding seconds to time object etc. as a problem involving numbers with base 60, that is every hour is 60 minutes and every minute is 60 seconds, then our code can be improved. That means you will have complete clarity in case of design development. So first you will go with the initial design, then you can have in detail design, then you go with the coding part. Okay, so what happens for any developer, when he sees the design he will get an idea. When he sees the in detailed design, he will come to know exactly how it is to be implemented. So similarly, if you go with the problem of adding two time objects, so you'll be knowing that, so hours means the maximum limit is, okay, 24 hours. So if you go with seconds, if the upper limit is 60, 1 minute means 60 seconds. Similarly, 1 hour means 60 minutes. That is the upper limit. So that will give an idea to the developer. So to put suitable constraints and to do the coding. So this is called as designed development. Next is debugging. How to debug. Okay. So debugging talks more about the validations that we may have to do. So that means before processing any input, we need to ensure that the input is valid, isn't it? So without validating whether the input is correct or incorrect, simply if you do the validation, what happens? Ultimately, you'll end up with incorrect output, isn't it? You'll end up with unwanted outcome. So therefore, it is always better to do validation. So this is part of debugging. Okay, always remember. Okay, doing suitable validations, doing necessary validations are part of debugging itself. So valid underscore time. So there is a function just to validate whether whatever the input parameters that you are receiving are valid or not. So if time dot hour is less than 0, or time dot minute is less than 0, or time dot second is less than 0, return false. Okay, that is one validation. Another validation is if time dot minute is greater than or equal to 60, or time dot second is greater than or equal to 60, return false. That means we are checking both lower limits and upper limits of time. So this becomes complete validation. So this is part of debugging itself. Now, just before adding, just before adding the objects T1 and T2, we can call this valid time. So how to call this valid time? Look at here. If not, if not, see not is a keyword. Okay, not is a keyword. If not, valid time, or not valid time of T2. That means, okay, so you are checking whether both T1 and T2 are valid or not. Okay, so in case if they become invalid, okay, that means if condition becomes true, then it will it will print this error message. It will print this error message. Now look at here. Python provides another debugging statement assert. So this, you can see here this raise. So this is a keyword. This is the keyword. Okay, raise value error. Okay. Now Python provides another mechanism called as the assert. We call it as assertion. So how to assert the statements using assert keyword, that we'll see now. Python provides another debugging statement called assert. When this keyword is used, Python evaluates the statement and returns false. statement following it. If the statement is true, further statements will be evaluated sequentially. But the usage of assert is shown here. That means, so what this assert will do? See, basically, it will provide a boolean outcome. Okay, if the statement becomes true, then it will allow for sequential execution of the remaining statements, or else it will generate an exception called as assertion error. Okay, that exception is called as assertion error. Okay, so therefore, what is the return type of assert? It returns boolean. Say now, see, this is similar to applying one if condition. See here, there is a function to add two objects. So then here we are using assert. Okay, just I'll highlight it. So assert valid time of t1 and valid time of t2. And look at here, in between we have the logical operation, that is and. Okay, so if both, see what happens when you're performing and operation. So valid of t1 should become true and valid time of t2 should also become true. Then only assert statement will return true. It will return true. If either valid time of t1 or valid time of t2 returns false, then assert will also return false. Then it will generate an exception called as assertion error. So this concept of assert is also there in uh, what is that, Selenium. Even when you use Selenium, you may have to assert the statements by using there we use a method called as assert. Okay, there you use a method called assert. So even that is part of Python. So if you implement Selenium by using Python framework or by using Java, in both the cases you will be using the assert concept to validate the statements. There also it generates a Boolean value. Next concept is classes and methods. So till now, whatever the classes that we have considered are just empty classes without having any definition. But in a true object oriented programming, a class contains high level attributes, and instance level attributes, and methods. See, some of the examples we have seen where we have created the data members and instance level attributes and methods. See, some of the examples we have seen where we have created the data members and instance attributes. So we have two types of attributes: class attributes and instance attributes. Okay, and the functions are called as methods. And there will be a tight relationship between the object of the class and the function that operate on those objects. Hence, the object-oriented nature of Python classes. So basically, when we say class, it is a collection of objects. And what the object contains, the object encapsulates data members and member functions together. So when I say members of a class, there are two types of members. That is data members and member functions. Okay, so there are data members and member functions. So then attributes of the class. Attributes of the class are called as data members. Okay, so then when I say attribute in Python, especially in Python, there are two types of attributes, that is class level attributes and instance attributes. When I say class level attributes, okay, say for example, there are two class attributes x and y. Okay, of type integer. Let us assume like that. Then we have objects, object 1, object 2, object 3 until object 10. Okay, you have 10 objects and you have only two class attributes. Now in this case, when I say the object diagram, each object will have one copy of x and y. So similarly, there are 10 objects. All the 10 objects will be having their own object, separate copy of data members x and y. So now here this x and y are called as class attributes. Okay. So now instance attributes means, as we have seen in the previous classes, An instance attribute is very much particular to a individual object that belongs to one individual object. Okay, instance all objects are always personal to an object. Say for example, now object 1 is having one instance attribute by name z. That means that z belongs only to object 1, not to any other object. So such attributes are called as instance attributes. Then students, and we also know that how to invoke methods. So to invoke any method, we need to create the object. Okay, to invoke in object orientation, if you want to invoke a method or a function, first we have to create an object. Using that object only, will invoke the method. Okay, then we will see init method. So there is one special method called as init method. Look at here. So how to write this init method is double underscore init double underscore, then close the bracket, that is common bracket, open and close common bracket. The init method has to be written with two underscores both before and after the word init. Okay, what you are seeing here, that is double underscore before init and after init. So it's actually a special method which will be defined implicitly. Okay, suppose let us assume you have written one Python program in which there is no init method. But what happens actually, as soon as you create any object, your Python interpreter will automatically create one init method. So the purpose of this init method is to initialize the objects, which is same as a constructor. See in C++ and in Java, you have a concept of constructor. Here you don't have the concept of constructor. Instead, you have the init method. Python provides a special method called as init method. So this is similar to the constructor method in C++. The term init indicates initialization. That is, the whole purpose of using this init method is to initialize the object. So now as the name suggests, this method is invoked automatically when the object of a class is created. Now to demonstrate this, consider this example. We are creating a list and we are importing math object because we are supposed to implement one formula, that is plus y1 minus y2 whole square. So that is the formula that we want to implement. And now the problem statement is that we need to model a problem which will calculate the distance between 2 points in an coordinate system. So now for that purpose we have main code. This is actual main code. So now what we are doing here, look at here, we are creating an object p1 is equal to point of 10 comma 20. Okay, so that means we are passing two arguments. Students, due to network problem it was cut. So now once again,
Sir, your
okay,
voice also breaking, sir.
okay, just now it was cut, isn't it? So I was telling, okay, shall I continue from here? Is it fine? Main code.
Yes, sir.
Hello. Shall I continue?
Yes, sir.
Yes. See, we have a class point. So the purpose of this class is, so it is having 2 points, P1 and P2. We need to find out what is the distance between these 2 points. For that, the formula is square root of x1 minus x2 whole square plus y1 minus y2 whole square. So that is what we are supposed to implement using the concept of object orientation. Okay, now we are creating one object p1 is equal to point of 10 comma 2. That means we are creating one object of type point and passing two arguments. Now this will automatically call init method. Okay, so now, so look at this. Okay, now this will automatically call. Now we have defined double underscore init double underscore self comma a comma b. Okay, you may be thinking, what is this self? Okay, just I'll highlight it. See, in C++, you have this pointer, isn't it? So, what is the function of this pointer in C++? Tell me, students. Anyone? Hello? Ashok?
Sir, Arjun, sir.
Vinirana?
Sir, it points to the
Yeah,
current
tell me.
object.
Yes. See, what is the meaning of current object? Now, what is the object that is invoking this init method? It is the object p1, which is automatically invoking init method. So, therefore, this self represents object p1. Okay, this self keyword is similar to this keyword or the this pointer in C++. In C++, always the this pointer represents the object which is invoking the method. Similarly, here self represents p1. Okay, so p1 comma a comma b. What is this a comma b? A is 10, b is 20. Okay, so self dot x, it is same as p1 dot x is equal to a. It is same as writing, it is same as writing same as p1 dot x is equal to a, and this second statement is same as p1 dot p1 dot y is equal to b. Now what we are doing here, we are initializing values of x and y. Now what kind of attributes are these x and y? Students, what kind of objects are these? These are, then also automatically it will invoke that invoke. Now p is equals b represents 5 here. So this is a and b, where a is 4 and b is 5. Okay, like that. Now p2 dot x is equal to 4 and p2 dot y is equal to 5. So it will be initialized like that. Then if you print p1 is p1. Okay, so there is one more method, underscore str is called automatically. Okay, that I'll tell you. Okay, so n comma 20, and if you display p2, it will display 4 comma 5. Now our purpose is to find the distance between 2 points P1 and P2. So P1 dot distance of P2 we are calling. So this is an explicit call to distance function. So let us see where we have this. Okay, defined distance. Okay, see here we have defined the distance. So self comma P2. So what is self? Self represents the object which is invoking the function. So it is P1. P1 is the object which is invoking the function. So therefore self represents P1. So D is equal to mat dot square root of self dot x minus P2 dot x. That is nothing but P1 dot x minus P2 dot x. This is whole square. This represents whole square plus self dot y minus P2 dot y. That is similar to P1 dot y minus P2 dot y whole square. Then store the result in D and return D. Okay. So then one more thing, students. So here when we print P1 is P1, so it will automatically invoke this method. Okay, look at the definition of that. That is double underscore string double underscore of self. Okay, self always represents the object which is invoking it. So return percentage d comma percentage d, which is nothing but self dot x comma self dot y. Okay. So and look at here in what format it is displaying value 1 comma value 2. So that's why here you are seeing this result in this format. So how you are seeing result in this format? See here, we are formatting it in whichever the manner we want to display the values. So we want to display the values within common brackets. Hence we are specifying it within common bracket. Okay. So look at here, there is the definition of that. Look at here. The next method inside the class is double underscore str double underscore. It is a special method used for string representation of user defined object. Okay, the meaning of double underscore str double underscore is it is a special method used for string representation of user defined object. So if you want to display user defined object in a string format, then you can use double underscore str double underscore. It will display the user defined object in a string format. Okay, that's all, student. Anything you want to ask? Any confusion you have in this program, students? Hello? Students, take the screenshot. One minute, take the screenshot of this program. Everyone take the screenshot.
Yes, sir.
Finished. So implement this program, that is today's task. Okay. So purposefully, I don't want to type this program. Why? Because what is there if I type? So okay. So only I will come to know what was the error and how to resolve the error, isn't it? So once you type exactly, okay. So without miss, you will get one or two errors. So then you rectify it. In case if you are not able to rectify it, you need to message me. Okay. So execute this program and put the output in GCR, source code and output in GCR. Save the file name by your USN. Okay, 1 minute, I'll take the attendance. Network is very slow. 1 minute. Okay, you can answer for the attendance. Okay, no problem. USN 1,
Yes, sir.
2. 2 is absent. Okay, I'll make a note of it. Okay, then 3,
Present, sir.
4,
Yes, sir.
5,
Present, sir.
6, 6 absent. 7,
Present, sir.
8, 8 absent. 9, 9, 9 absent. 10,
Present, sir.
11,
Present, sir.
12,
Present, sir.
13,
Present, sir.
14,
Present, sir.
16,
Present, sir.
17,
Present, sir.
18,
Present, sir.
19,
Present, sir.
20,
Present, sir.
21,
Present, sir.
22, 22. Okay, 22 absent. 23,
Present, sir.
24,
Yes, sir.
25,
Yes, sir.
26,
Present, sir.
27,
Yes, sir.
28,
Present, sir.
29,
Yes, sir.
30. 30.
Sir, 9 present, sir.
Huh?
9 present, sir.
What you are doing?
Sir, I got disconnected, sir.
Okay. USN 30, absent. Nishant. Series, USN 2, USN 2
Present, sir.
Paisa.
Present, sir.
3,
Present, sir.
4,
Present, sir.
5,
Present, sir.
6,
6 present, sir.
7,
Present, sir.
8,
Present, sir.
9,
Present, sir.
10,
Present, sir.
11,
Yes, sir.
12,
Present, sir.
13,
Present, sir.
14,
Yes, sir.
16,
Present, sir.
17,
Yes, sir.
18, Purti, 19,
Present, sir.
20,
Present, sir.
21,
Present, sir.
22,
Present, sir.
22, 23.
Present, sir.
Vinny, you are coming only for attendance or what? When I call your name, you are not at all responding. Whether you are there?
Sir, she is not there, sir.
Huh? She's not there. Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Who is this?
Vaishnavi,
Vinny is
sir.
absent, right? Vinny is absent.
Yes, sir.
Then who told yes?
Sir, Abhina present.
T- TD22, I told present, sir.
Okay. Any missing names? Any missing names?
Sir, 1 by 02, sir, present.
Huh?
Abhinav, sir, Abhinav present. Second roll number.
You are coming for attendance. When I call you, what you are doing? when I ask the question, if you are not replying, okay, I'll put just absent. Somewhere in the middle of the class, if I call you, you should have to reply. If you do not reply during the attendance time, I'll mark it as absent. Otherwise, I'll consider that only you are logging in during attendance time. That's it. Abhinav.
Okay, sir.
Okay, 1 minute. I'll create the assignment. I have to create the assignment so that you can upload. Students, you can start typing that program, students. You start typing that program. You execute that program using idle. Don't use online compiler. You have to use idle. Student, just look at here. Saturday's assignment still 13 are pending. Abhinav Gupta, Arbaz Khan, Benita, Bhargavi, Kishore, Manisha, Nilanjan, Nishant, Rizwan, Vishal, Shruti, Sunil, and Vinirana. Still, you are supposed to submit the assignment, Saturday's assignment. Huh? Submit it fast. So all those things will reflect in your internal marks. I'm telling you. Just I will have a track overall irregular. So accordingly, they will get the internal marks when I finalize.
Sir, I'm hospitalized for 14 days. So, sir, I didn't submit assignment.
Who is that?
Sir, Abhinav.
What happened to you?
Sir, Corona.
Corona. Okay. Okay. Okay, that is the exception case.
Sir, I
Okay, no problem.
inform HOD, sir.
Abhinav, you can submit later. Okay,
Okay,
you
sir.
should tell me the reason. If
Yes,
there is
sir.
any issue.
Sir, Corona, sir. I inform HOD, ma'am, also.
Okay. So like that you have to inform. Students, I'm creating the assignment. So you can write the program. You have taken the screenshot. You can implement the program and submit the source code as well as output. So time I'll give today complete day. By today, end of the day, you can submit. Thank you, students. That's all for today.